Happy semi-finals week here on the Mash and Drum. What is going on, everybody? I am Jason C. Welcome to a very special Wednesday night, a very special Whiskey Wednesday night here on the Mash and Drum. That's right. We have Brewzle in the house. He is backstage, ready to go here in a little bit. We'll welcome him on soon enough. But guys, yeah, tonight, not only are we going to be tasting the Jack Daniel's, the brand new small batch, small batch rye whiskey. The 375 milliliters just came out. But we'll also be welcoming Brewzle onto the show. Talk to him a little bit about his history, his pathway into the whiskey world, his channel, TikTok, Instagram, all the stuff that he's been doing, and especially want to learn more about his love of craft whiskeys and smaller brands, and how special some of those are to him personally. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But before we get started, let me welcome some of you into the chat. I'm wondering if some of you guys have already received your ride symbol from Drum Key Spirits. I don't know if you've cracked that open, how you guys enjoying it. Hope you are. It's this beautiful bottle right here. This is still my one full bottle I have. I'm gonna have to get myself some more backups of that one. It's so damn good. Yeah, they are really high proof, but we'll get into it. And I had a call with Chris Fletcher this week with a bunch of other journalists and YouTubers and writers, and he really broke down like each different small batch release, what makes them different, what makes them unique, his personal favorites, and of course the bottle counts, which are really interesting. So we'll get into that too. I'll give you guys all the details, everything you need before you start seeking these out, because they are going to be a little bit stupid hard to get. So first off, WD here, I'm ready for Brewzlegeddon. Let's go. Love that. The Mash and Brewzle is finally happening. That's right. We got the Bourbon Coach. Olan salute everyone cracking the ride symbol tonight. LFG Mash and Drummers. We got Josh Pinegar is here. Whiskey Wednesday. Nathan Jurgensen is here. He's got his ride symbol in the glass. Freeport Steve, as luck would have it, Drum Key Rye literally just got delivered. Figure I'll let the bottle warm up before cracking. In the meantime, sipping New Riff Rye. We got Isaac Fufu. What's up, Lance? We got Sandeep Chima. Jason Coates is here. Let's see. We got JG, of course, is here as always. Tim Jurgensen is here. He's got the M&J Silver Springs Rye. Very nice. Patrick Grelick is here. Antique 107 may not work, but Special Reserve works like a charm. Love that. Let's see. We got Travis Robeson's here. What's going on, Old Tub? Nice to see you, man. John Legalbo is here. Who else? We got Gasfa, Little Barry. Tim Romero is here. Big Mo MC. Cheers from Chesapeake, Virginia. What's going on, VA? Nice to see you, man. Tim Cornet is here. We got Justin Jenkins is here. Randall the Express Erickson. This should be a lot of fun. Yes, it should be. Kevin O'Malley is here. Happy Wednesday. LFG. Big Vic is here. What's going on, you cardboard avocado? Love you, man. Hope to see you. Hope you're doing well. Who else we got here? Jay to the Low is in the house. We got Josh Fritz. What's up, Fritzy? Joe the Sample Guy is here. Ride Symbol poured. Robert Schemmer is here. There's Brewzle. How's everyone? Let's see. Tom Shenley is here. Let's see. Who else do we got? We got A-Brod. The Dr. Spet is here. Very well balanced sweet dark berries and oak spice on the ride symbol. Yeah, you pretty much nailed it, man. Let's see. We got Jeff Perkins. Jeff Perkins has a blend in the running tonight. So does Bo's Wine Guy. Good luck to you guys. Russ L's here. Clint Hart. Let's see who else. Mauricio Pastenis is here. We got Johnny Aces, Mark Hoyle, and a bunch more people coming in. I'm going to have to scroll down because I'm never going to catch up this fast. And okay, N2 Bourbon says, I'm here. Okay, you're here. Hazmat Pat. Well, that's a cool name. I like that. Hazmat Pat is here. Okay. M. Baker has some Knob Creek blenders in the cup. I like that. A lot of, hey, what's up, Matt Carter? Jason Busey's here. What? The Buse is loose. Are you shitting me? Nice to see you, buddy. It's been a minute. Mason Reed is here with his pee poo poo. Love it, man. Thanks for this first super chat of the night. Appreciate it. Sean Mahoney is here. Okay. Mark is here. Now everyone's just saying they're here. All right, guys. This isn't, everybody raise your hand if you're here. People raising their hand at home. All right, guys, let's talk about this a little bit before we bring Brewzle on. I do want to just get into this a little bit. If you guys missed the news, Jack Daniel's on Tuesday, and I will show you the photos, guys, if you missed it here. Jack Daniel's on Tuesday unveiled its latest high-proof whiskey with 5 batches of rye drawn from 3 different warehouses, highlighting how barrel location can shape whiskey. I mean, they've been doing this. The release pulls from Coy Hill, Boiler Hill, and Fire Brigade Fields, bringing together 129 barrels filled between 2016 and 2017 and aged for an average of 10 years. So 2 batches come from Coy Hill, long known for producing some of the distillery's most intense barrels, while the remaining 3 spotlight newer, less familiar aging locations. So each whiskey is distilled from their usual 70, 18, 12 rye mash bill, undergoes the usual charcoal mellowing process before aging in new oak. So rather than positioning this as a traditional note-heavy release, the emphasis is on a very bold type of structure, high proof, just, flavor bombs. And they are going to be coming in 375 milliliter bottles, priced at $64.99 each. And these are only going to be available at the White Rabbit Bottle Shop at the distillery in Lynchburg. So that's it. They unfortunately will not be making its way out to regular markets, which is kind of a bummer, which makes this even harder to get. I'm not sure how much they're going to be rolling these out. Now, I did have a conversation with Chris Fletcher, as I mentioned, and this is basically what they said. They're going to be putting, a lot of these are pushing 9 years. They're between 9 years, almost 10 years old. It's kind of a mixed bag. They had 3 to 4 from Boiler Hill and Coy Hill that were completely empty when they were searching for barrels. So, guys, these are obviously aged at the tippy top brickhouse locations. I mean, to find, I think he said it was about a dozen, like half a dozen to a dozen empty, completely empty barrels. So that's what we're talking about, like these locations where these rick houses are. Now, what's interesting is the amount of releases, the amount of bottles that you have here. And I'll tell you here, I'm gonna taste through this one. Now, this is a sample I got from them. This is Boiler Hill batch number 2. So this is Boiler Hill number 2, which comes in at 142.7 proof, which is actually one of the lower proof points, to believe it or not, which is kind of crazy. So Boiler Hill 2 had 1,150 cases. Now, 1,150 cases doesn't sound like much, but when you talk about 375s, that's 12 bottles per case. So you could do the math there. There's easily the most of Boiler 2. This is probably why the media got samples for that specific warehouse. Boiler 2 batch 1 is only 424 cases. Fire Brigade Field is 151 cases. That one came in at 144.8 proof. Then you have Coy Hill batch 1, which is only 201 cases. And then the super shorty is Coy Hill batch 2, which was only 55 cases. Now, still waiting to hear if these were going to be rolled out as far as continually being rolled out as we go forward here. Not really sure if they're going to kind of drip these across the, as we go along. We'll have to see. Now they're labeled on the bottles. You guys will know exactly like what location they are. So you guys will know. I think the batches are labeled. Let me look at the photo again. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that they are labeled. Yeah, right up there on the bottom. I think it gives you all the info. So let's dive into this one real quick. Again, this is Boiler 2. And I'll tell you off the bat, this is they didn't do a Tanyard Hill. Which is kind of smart because they had the Tanyard Hill special release last year, and they're just focusing on some newer, I guess, Fire Brigade and Boiler Hill for this one, along with Coy Hill. You can't leave Coy Hill out. But let me get into this one a little bit with you guys, because it's a really unique Jack Daniel's profile. And if I was going to chase any of these, this would be one of them. And the reason why is because there is such a dense and rich cherry tobacco note on the nose here that is just super intense. I have found cherry in some Jack Daniel's single barrels. You don't get it often. And I'm talking about the Tennessee whiskey. Now, the rye, you get some more candy notes, but the amount of cherry in this Boiler Hill 2, I don't think I've ever tasted anything like this from Jack Daniel's. It's kind of wild. I mean, it is straight up tobacco leaf and cherry. It's like cherry wood, tobacco leaf, all of it. Let me go back to the comments here. Yes, they are distillery only, Jeetman. Just launching at the White Rabbit Bottle Shop. That's it. Yeah, secondary is really nuts on these. There are people selling an entire set for like $3,400. I don't know why they needed to add the 0.4. Like 3,000 isn't enough. let's get another $400 out of everybody. It always boggles my mind how these prices get set by the secondary market. But I mean, it's wild. Yeah, Devin Barons, we did the Coy Hill pick that we did last year was a ride. It was freaking ridiculous. So they're definitely out there. So this almost gets into like a cherry lozenge, Luden's cough drop type of cherry. So think of it like goes from like Swedish fish into like, Luden's cough drop. Let's give it a try, guys. Cheers. Thanks for hanging out here tonight. It's going to be a hell of a show. Oh. I'll say this drink's really hot. They drink hot. This is candy cherry, medicinal cherry, like that cherry lozenge note that I said I got. Lots of spicy oak. Like this is like crushed red pepper, borderline jalapeno pepper in your wow, on your palate. And then it finishes with like this this like wine finish almost. It has like this deep, dark, almost tannic, winey type of influence in it, which is really interesting. I got to give credit to Matt from ADHD Whiskey for pointing that out. I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of a crazy note in this. So a really unique, powerful rye whiskey. I'm still feeling it. Jeez. Yeah. Not that I almost hurled, but holy crap, that thing hit hard. Yeah, these are not subtle. If you guys like proof monsters, if you're a big fan of the Coy Hill, these guys, these little balls of fire that are right here, then you're gonna love the Jack Daniel's rye. The only thing that sucks is these are gonna be super, super hard to get. So because of the cherry note, this was Chris Fletcher's one of his favorite batches. His other favorite batch was actually the Fire Brigade. He actually didn't call out any of the Coy Hills as being his favorite. He called out the Fire Brigade and Boiler 2. Fire Brigade he liked mostly because he said it had the best viscosity and texture out of all of them. So he thought that was really like interesting. Some of them are a little bit more rye heavy. Some of them are sweeter, but all of them are very powerful and kind of in your face. As far as, what you guys want to pay for these, I would imagine the only way you're going to be able to get these is through either a friend visiting Jack Daniel's, you going yourself, or unfortunately getting them through the secondary market, because these are not going to be getting in stores. Now, do you wait it out in the secondary market if you need to, just to see if the prices come down a little bit? I would imagine they would. Not sure by how much, but it's kind of wild. So 4 Leaf Whiskey is here. Man, this one sounds like a hard pass. I would never get my hands on it anyway. It says guitars, whiskey, and golf. Not paying that much at all. Howdy from Idaho. What's going on, Proof? Proofed home? Proof at home. What was your warm-up dram, Jason? Oh, I had a pour of actually Elijah Craig 15 before I started. It was just sitting over here. I'm like, let me have that to warm up. And this is completely blowing it away. Now, if you drop some water in it, just a couple drops, the rye spice really comes to the forefront. And the problem is it almost loses a little bit of the cherry. But mainly on the nose. On the palate, you still get it. More rye spice comes to the forefront. The pepper is actually, I actually think a drop of water or two like really helps this open up a little bit. Like I said, it drinks hot. They are little fireballs. If you guys are into it, go for it. These are going to be kind of, I guess, collector's pieces, for a lot of Jack Daniel's collectors. And again, they already released a bunch yesterday at the bottle shop, and I immediately saw them on secondary, obviously for $3,500, whatever the crazy price was for these. But other than that, we'll see how these roll out. Did they release all of them? Are they going to be dripping more as they go along at the bottle shop? I guess time will tell. But unfortunately, these are going to be really hard to get, and that's just kind of the way it is. That's a nice warm-up, Dram, sir. Jack Daniels Monopoly game. Yeah, I think Jack Daniels is kind of doing their due diligence and just kind of making, building up the excitement. When you say limited at the White Rabbit bottle shop, that's it. That's the only way you can get them. Flippers, their eyes start turning green with money. So that's just how it goes, man. Had a BP rye that smelled like dill, added a couple drops, and it changed into bubblegum. Yeah, Alphabet bubblegum isn't always my favorite note in whiskey either. If it's like a cherry or grape bubblegum, I think I could dig it, but I don't like when it smells like that old school baseball card stick stale bubblegum that I usually get. Last hurrah before the acquisition. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. We'll definitely talk a little bit about that with Brewzle a little bit. I'm trying to see if there was any other news stories we could get into here before we welcome Brewzle on. Actually, just the latest here, guys. Speaking of Jack Daniels, kind of the Jack Daniels saga, and the acquisition. Jack Daniels owner, Brown-Forman, apparently prefers Pernod Ricard sales over the Sazerac $15 billion offer. Now, the Brown family, owners of Brown-Forman, the corporation behind brands like Jack Daniels and Woodford Reserve, reportedly favor sale to French spirits conglomerate Pernod Ricard over a reported $15 billion bid made by Sazerac. According to a person familiar with the company's thinking, Brown-Forman feels that Pernod Ricard would be a better fit for the culture and aspirations of the company. The nearly $18 billion firm has a larger geographical footprint and more recognizable spirits portfolio than competitor Sazerac, which is currently valued at $9.6 billion and generates approximately 75% of its revenue from North America. Reuters reports that sources said the Brown family views Pernod as the more prestigious acquirer. So what does that all mean? It means they want to go big or go home. They want to go with the, bigger conglomerate, bigger money, or it could mean that maybe they're a little bit more scared of what Sazerac could do to their brand if it gets into Sazerac's hands, judging what happened maybe with Early Times. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Sazerac. Early Times, was that a smooth acquisition? Was it a little bit of a headache? Maybe they don't want to go through that again if there was. Again, I'm just speculating, not really sure what's true or not. But it looks like Pernod Ricard is the leader in the clubhouse as far as who they're willing to sell to. So we'll see what goes on. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes forward. If they're looking to take the brand more global, then Pernod Ricard is going to be the move. If they're just looking to make a bunch load of money, then maybe Sazerac is the move. So we'll see what they say. We'll see. All right, guys. Without further ado, I think it's time we welcome on the man of the hour, guys. Excited to bring on TJ. He's been just completely ruling the whiskey tube space for a little while now. His content is whiskey hunting content. Personally, I love what he does for the small brands. If you guys have not met him yet or heard from him yet, we're going to talk to him a little bit tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Brewzle.
What's going on, everybody? Give me an audio video check. Make sure y'all can hear me.
Your video's good. Your mic's a little bit hot.
A little hot? Okay.
A little hot.
We can work on that real quick. Let's see. Take it down to there. How about that?
Oh, that's perfect, man. You're good to go.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so TJ, I really appreciate you coming on. I know you're very busy. I wanted to get you on as a semifinals judge here on Blendageddon, but also just to chat, just to talk whiskey. We've talked in passing, we've talked on live streams and chats, but never really face to face. I mean, I did meet you, I think a couple times. I think I met you in person at the Bourbon Junkies event that one year.
I believe so.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah. But we haven't had a lot of time to really talk shop and talk whiskey. So how you been holding up this last this I guess your 2026 in whiskey? How's it going?
It's going busy. I have a problem overcommitting, and I just keep saying yes to everything I possibly can. It's a wild ride I'm riding right now, and I just want to take advantage of as much of it as I possibly can. So we're on the road constantly, going everywhere, trying to do everything, and having a blast with it all.
As far as your I guess, your travels, how did you even like? How are you planning now, like to do these? Like when you do your whiskey hunting, how does it actually work? What's the logistics behind something like that?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes we have a place to go and we need to be somewhere for some reason that's not necessarily bourbon hunting. And then if we're going to go, we might as well drive, get some videos filmed. We had a lot of objectives around trying to get to all 50 states, which we've done all 48 continental United States at this point. So we've still got two. So it's just, hey, here's a state I haven't been to. Let's go there and check out the scene there and what bourbon hunting's like in that area. Now, most of the time, it's a little haphazard. It's, hey, I need more videos. Let's plan a road trip somewhere.
Okay.
So like next week, we leave to go on a little road trip to hunt some places we've never hunted and hit a couple of places we have and just try to, continue putting out something interesting, something different than we've done before.
So they're saying in the chat, your mic is still a little bit hot. I don't know if you want to lower it a little bit more.
I'm going to go turn it down over there on the mixing board.
All right, cool. All right, guys, we'll get that fixed here a little bit. Let me grab tonight's samples. I believe, yeah, these should be all in order. Right.
All right. How is that? Let me know if that's better or worse.
Let me see. Yeah, I think it's a little better. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They're saying you're good now. Let me just let me check your mic here.
Normal to loud. I'm probably pointing away and then pointing right at it. So it's probably something to do with that. Not used to rocking this big mic in my face here.
Yeah, you go like from quiet to loud, and it's kind of like fluctuating.
I'll
okay.
Make sure I'm talking into the microphone.
Okay, there you go. You should be okay now.
Too low now, yeah. All
right, so I don't know. Just give us a little bit of a background. I know it kind of sounds cheesy, but just for the audience to get to know you. I know you know. A lot of us have heard the stories of Brewzle. It's like, okay, he did the video with, he put some Weller in a lawnmower, kind of blew up from there. Then he kind of shifted to YouTube. When did this all start for you? And where, I know, like, I did read the article in Forbes, kind of how your mindset went from TikTok to Instagram and then to kind of long form videos. Kind of take us through a little bit of that journey and kind of the mindset shift that you went through.
Sure. When we started, Alabama is one of those states where it's really hard to find rare whiskey. And as with everybody, when I first started my bourbon journey, that's what you want. You want the rare stuff. You want the stuff that everybody's clamoring over. In Alabama, that's go wait in line. Let's go to an Alabama ABC drop. And went to one of these and met a guy that had 4,000 followers on TikTok, which just seemed like a huge number of people. And I thought TikTok was just twerking girls. I didn't even know at the time there were people talking about bourbon on there. And I was like, well, I'm going to go check this out. So I went and checked it out and played around. And it was late pandemic. So had some free time and was just posting questions, right? Like I was just asking questions and giving my opinions on things and doing fun little videos and really just quit. Like it blew up pretty good. We got some followers, or I got some followers, and then got busy, bought a house, was working on that and just kind of quit. And then, got done with that project and decided I would, we had some success. Let's see how far we could take it, have a little more fun with it. And started posting videos in July of 2022 on TikTok and YouTube and really most of the platforms, but started posting them and really got, a lot of negative feedback on, some of the things that you have to do here in the state of Alabama, and really found that most of the bourbon community at that point that I was running into, especially on TikTok, was not particularly open or welcoming or fun or nice. And, it's whiskey has to be obtained this way. It has to be drank this way. Only bourbon can be made in Kentucky. Like, it's just those folks.
Yeah.
And, started trolling, like just found those people frustrating. And so we started trolling them. So I waited in line for 2 days to get a bottle of Weller And then it's like, how do we drain pour it in the most frustrating way possible? So, got a lot of negative feedback on that video. So then I turned around and we just poured it in my lawnmower to see if it would run it. I didn't know. I mean, it's 114 proof. It might run. It did not. Had to put another carburetor on that lawnmower. But, and then you get folks that are like, Scotch is great and bourbon sucks. And, so we reviewed Johnny Walker Blue and called it an Irish whiskey the whole time. And, we still have a little fun. Like we made a cannon to shoot Blanton's minis at things and, stuff like that. Like I still just try to keep it lighthearted. When we're live streaming, people used to get mad because we're rinsing with Dr. Pepper Zoo. You could only rinse with Kentucky limestone water at the proper temperature.
Oh my God.
It's just supposed to be fun. And so at some point though, like you're trolling, and if you're negative online, you're just going to attract negative folks, and you're going to build a negative community, and those negative people are going to run out all the positive folks. And it finally got to where we're getting views, we're having some success. How can we create a positive community that has some meaningful impact? And what's important to me? Well, I'm a small business guy. I own a small business. I come from a background of folks that, had one person businesses or small businesses with 2 or 3 people working there. And so how do we go out and help small distilleries, small stores, small businesses, and do something meaningful with the attention? And so really started focusing on quite a few different types of content. Bourbon hunting, obviously, was a breakout success. And so just started kind of leaning into that and using that as the tip of the spear and trying to make sure the content we create is approachable regardless of where you're at in your bourbon journey, as long as you're generally optimistic and positive about things.
Yeah, that's what I read, which I found interesting, how you kind of want to create content not only for the whiskey, I guess, nerds, but people that aren't really into whiskey. They just want to go on a journey with you. Has that been, you feel like that's been more successful when you're talking to people out in the world, when you're visiting these stores? Are you meeting people that were never into whiskey that got into whiskey because they caught a video of you bourbon hunting? Or have you just run into people that are still not even into whiskey, but they just watch you in general?
If you read our comments, you'll see a lot of them where folks are like, I don't even drink, and this is entertaining.
Okay.
We go to events, like we were at Spillway in Mississippi this past weekend, and probably had 3 or 4 folks come up at that event and just say, I was a one bottle guy. I drank this one thing, found the content, and now I own, 200 or 2,000 bottles, which, I'll say, slow down. You don't have to buy them all. That's, I like to hunt for them. I like to own them, but let's not let it get out of hand. That's an expensive journey you're going on there. But yeah, it's very common that a lot of our audience, they found us early, and we helped, get them more into the whiskey hobby, and hopefully they move on and they consume more content like yours that does more review stuff and more serious, like evaluations and critiques of whiskey and whiskey news and things like that. Like that's kind of the point. Get more into it, find other folks you resonate with.
I got to ask, because I think one of the best things you do is shining a light on smaller whiskey producers. I've actually found a couple brands off of a couple of your recommendations that I either saw or somebody told me, hey, this brand's kind of making some noise. How important is it to you was that something that you kind of knew going in that you wanted to do, or did that kind of happen organically as you started discovering all these new brands in your travels?
Well, when I started, like, Alabama has almost no whiskey allocation whatsoever. Like, this is one of the last states that any brand wants to sell into, because the taxes are so high and the population's not real large to warrant getting your products in here because your margins are so low. And so when I started, I thought, man, I'll do this a year or two. I'll own every bottle I could buy. Right. Like I definitely could own every bottle that's for sale in Alabama. And so when we started traveling, I learned, and I found out that whiskey is still very regionalized, and you just don't realize, that craft whiskey is just now starting to get its legs under it. And there's so many great folks out there that are distributed in 1, 2, or 3 states that are making fantastic whiskey. And so obviously I was looking early on for the rare things that I'd never tried. And you start getting bored with that after a while. Like that, I love a good Buffalo Trace product. Don't get me wrong. I'll drink a William LaRue Weller anytime someone sets one in front of me. But there's only so many Weller Antiques or E.H. Taylors or Blantons or Blanton Straight from the Barrel. There's only so many of those that I really want to drink. They get a little boring to me after a while, even though they're still very delicious. And so I started finding myself gravitating toward these small brands that have more interesting flavor profiles and different. And I'm not saying they're better than a Sazerac or Buffalo Trace distilled product. I'm just saying at that point, they're more interesting to me for some reason or another. And so really just started diving down into that and realized, well, these folks are struggling. Like this industry, I think a third of all the craft distilleries have closed in the last year and a half. And so most of these folks don't know how to market. They don't have the budget to hire a bunch of sales reps. And so finding them and then shining a light on them is like, that's literally the most beneficial thing we could do with the platform that we've built.
Yeah, I love that part of it. Like I said, I think one brand that you and I both mutually kind of love, and I kind of found it last year, was Old Glory in Tennessee. One of my favorite distilleries that I kind of discovered. Peter Ehart and a couple of others that I got to found that I found a couple through you. And some other people's recommendations, also being a judge in the Ascot Awards and trying some of this stuff blind and just discovering what the hell is this. It's really cool, and it's one of those things where, again, just to your point, when these guys don't have the sales reps and they don't have the marketing strategy and they don't have the footprint a lot of these big guys do, I think it's important for whether it be us or publications to shine a light on them. It definitely makes a big deal. It makes a big difference to them as well.
Sure. And like Old Glory, their best stuff is still yet to come. Their column distillate is actually really, really nice. It hasn't quite got the age on it.
Yep.
But some of their small 30-gallon barrels of pot distilled stuff is out of this world.
Oh yeah, we have two barrel picks coming that are their pot still. Then we also chose a column still one that we're double oaking to see if we can pull a little bit more age in there to see what happens with it, because it's got like this chocolate raspberry note to it. So we're going to see if we could pull that out a little bit more. So are you a malt guy, Scotch guy, or not really?
No. So my palate it's a delicate little flower. I know I don't look like one, but cilantro, raw onions, horseradish, like they're just things that are really strong to my palate.
Okay.
I'm getting more on board with the flavor of malt. I'm getting there. I can't handle peated anything.
Got it.
But, nothing really super smoky. That just dominates my palate. I am starting to find some single malts. I'm like, I would drink that if that's all you had. American single malts. I mean, not all of them. I mean, we broke out the Dalmores the other day. Those were solid. I was like, I could handle that.
All right.
We bought a couple of craft Justice cold. It's actually peated, but it's like cold peated. I was like, I could handle that. That's a small brand out of I think I bought it in Minnesota or something.
Okay. So you're slowly getting into some of the malt stuff.
I'm never going to be super into it. I'm starting to become okay with it.
As far as some of the, I guess, newer brands that you've discovered, a couple that come to mind?
The brand I'm drinking the most right now, there's two that I just keep going back to. Leaper's Fork out of Tennessee. There's nothing like that kind of Raisin Bran note, and that's not for everybody. I know, you may not like Raisin Bran in your whiskey, but if you find a really good single barrel from them, it's just so crazy and exceptional. And then Broad Branch Rye.
Broad Branch, yeah.
Single barrels are 140 plus proof, and it's probably one of, if not the best craft rye whiskey on the market.
Broad Branch. I'm going to have to get my hands on some of that. I don't think I've had any of that yet, but yeah, I'm a big fan of Leaper's Fork. I've tried some of their stuff early on, that pot still stuff, just delicious stuff coming out of Tennessee. So sure. TJ brought Detling way up. Yeah, actually, I found Detling because of you, actually, and I'm like, man, he's talking about these like coffee and chocolate notes, and then I got a single barrel, and that's all I tasted. it was those Detling single barrels are wild.
They're intense.
Yeah.
Matt points out here in the chat, was it that long ago I didn't like rye? Exactly.
Oh,
I'm brewing. I'm expanding my palate.
What's the bottle that made you say, holy shit, I want to get into whiskey more? Is there a bottle?
Antique 107.
Weller Antique 107.
That was the girl right there. Yeah. I was trying. I mean, I'm a Jack Daniels, Jack and Coke kind of guy, and started trying to drink some neat and tried a few, and nothing. I mean, some good stuff. Wild Turkey 101, Woodford Double Oak. I still enjoy those. Those are great bottles of whiskey.
Yeah.
But I found Weller Antique, and I was like, okay, there are levels to this, and I've got to go explore them a little more.
Yeah. As far as so would you say Buffalo Trace is kind of your tops, or is Buffalo Trace more of your go-to while you like to explore other brands?
I almost never drink a Buffalo Trace bottle anymore. Almost never. It's only time I'll try it is if somebody comes over and I'm going to pour it for them, and I'm going to try it as well, just so I can kind of talk to them about it. So, but I hate even saying this. I sound like an asshole. It's a good problem to have, right? I understand that, and I understand the privilege of this problem, but we're going through 50 to 100 new bottles of whiskey a month. So there's not a lot of just going back to stuff.
No, yeah, totally understand. What do you feel about the kind of what's happening in the whiskey market? I just want to get your take on it, just a different perspective as far as the consolidations, the sales. Four Roses just got sold. Now we're looking at possibly an acquiring or either Pernod Ricard or Sazerac acquiring Brown-Forman. There's a lot of this going on. Obviously, the troubles with Uncle Nearest. From the outside looking in, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the whiskey market it's three different markets. That's one thing that I think a lot of people fail to realize is there's the commodity market, right? There's Jack Daniel's Old Number 7. There's White Label Jim Beam. There's I drink this and I buy it by the handle because that's what my granddad drank, and this is just my whiskey, and that's all I drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got that market. You've got the enthusiast market, which is where I spend all of my time, and I would assume most of the folks that watch this channel and my channel fall firmly into that. And then there's the collector market, which is, you buy it, you like to look at it, you want it to go up in value, or you want to impress your friends with it, whatever you're into. Get all the Pokemon. Definitely buy all the tater tubes of Wild Turkey cheesy gold foil. That's fine.
I will. Thank you for your permission. I appreciate it.
I'm going to drink. I'm going to eat them all. I'm going to see if they taste different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's three different markets. And so the market that moves the needle is the commodity market. These guys are not so worried about the enthusiast market. And people get mad about it. They get mad about, Jack Daniels releasing this rye and it's only at the White Rabbit shop. But like releasing a couple of thousand cases of whiskey means nothing to Jack Daniels. That's a drop in the bucket. They probably spill that much whiskey every year.
Yeah.
So it's not, it builds enthusiasm for the brand, but it doesn't move the needle. And so when a lot of these guys are making these decisions, they're not making the decisions for us. They're not making the decisions for the enthusiasts. They're making the decisions around the commodity market and just moving cases. And the only real levers you have in that market is distribution and price. And so when you lose distribution in Canada, well, that doesn't bother most craft brands because they're not sold in Canada anyway.
Yeah, I've mentioned that before in the past that, when you're looking at, these different market, I guess, the market dip, whatever you want to call it, when you're talking about tariffs or stuff that's happening, people drinking less, it's only going to really affect those certain brands that are actually distributed overseas.
Exactly. And the problem is they would normally, like right now, they have a glut of barrels. Like I've talked to a couple of the big distillers, and their number one problem is just lowering barrel inventory. And normally they would just take it overseas. But if we're in a tariff war, they can't do that. And so they don't have any price control over there because everything's getting tariffed real hard. So it's put a squeeze on the commodity market. I think the enthusiast market is about as strong as it's ever been. I think the collector market is really soft right now. And I think the the collector market is softened for a few reasons. One, just saturation. Two, the economy. People don't have as much money to spend. But three, the education of the enthusiast market. And they're starting to look for more readily available things, more craft brands. And they're not going to buy every single batch of Stag Junior that comes out for whatever price they can find it at.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I do think there's a you have kind of, like you said, the ones that are popular, cheap whiskeys that are always going to be, people are always going to be buying those as long as, you know, it's cheap and it's good. You have this gap though between that level of whiskey and then, like you said, kind of the enthusiast bottles, the special releases. And that's why we keep seeing, I keep saying it, that's why we keep seeing so many damn special releases, because nobody's really caring about the $60 to $150 bottle of bourbon that's sitting on the shelf anymore. They rather have the rare one that's coming out if they have to pay up for it. They always want something new, especially the enthusiast market. What I would like to get your perspective on is, do you think the drop in sales, or let's say, well, let me roll that back. When we're talking about the younger generation maybe not getting into whiskey as much these days, do you think that is health, maybe the gummies slash, you know, type of market, or is there an opportunity for brands to better connect with those folks in order to get into those to get into whiskey and American bourbon again?
A surprising amount of our audience is in their early 20s. And especially with the mixed up channel, we've got a much younger demographic over there, and a lot of those folks are in their early to mid 20s. So we've talked to quite a few of them, and I think you've got a little bit of a squeeze. Like, you got to understand the bourbon market. If it goes down 1%, the big guys start panicking.
Oh, right? For sure.
So that's a big dip. And so okay, cannabis, gummies, that's going to eat into it a little bit. Seltzers, RTDs, things like that have eaten into it a little bit. I think the real big problem that's really done some damage, I think, is temporary. And that is, one, it's really expensive to live at this stage, right? Coming out of the pandemic.
For sure.
A whole generation of folks turn 21, go to college, get to that age in an environment where they weren't going out. They were socially distancing, and they spent 2 or 3 years in the house, or 4 years in the house. And they're also staying at home longer. They're not moving out. People are not dating as much anymore, which, going to bars and drinking socially. But I also think life hasn't really hit them in the face yet, like it did most of us that had to jump out there at an early age. And I think once the next generation hits, like, you may always have a little blip in the radar with this generation being a little lower to consume alcohol. But I really think when those folks 5-6 years from now, when they're 30, they're going to be drinking because they're going to need it.
Yeah, I think for the enthusiast, it's kind of a golden age right now. There's so much great whiskey out there. There are amazing barrels, like you said. Even, the NDP market has access to crazy barrels that have dipped a lot, just in pricing. It's a great time to be a whiskey enthusiast, but yeah, I do think there's more opportunities for some of these brands to connect better with the audiences as they're trying to maybe come out of that blip that you mentioned. All right, last question before we dive into the samples here for Blendageddon. Where did the name Brewzle come from?
Ooh, okay. Long story. I'll try to give the abridged version.
All right.
Back in the mid 2000s, I had an employee that was very into craft beer. The craft beer movement was taking off, and he was all in it. And I wasn't drinking craft beer. I still think IPAs are awful. But I thought he had an idea for a project, and we explored it, and we worked on the logo together. Came up with the name. I came up with the name. He and I worked on the logo together, and we had the branding for this website. We were going to do a beer recommendation kind of algorithm. And we got the project kind of specced out and realized that we just didn't have the data. We just couldn't get the data we need. And then, of course, shortly after that, the iPhone came out, and I was like, thank God we didn't We didn't build that website that would now be an app, and we would have to start over. And so, as I do when I have a project like that, I just sit on the domain name.
Mhm.
And when we started doing content, I really didn't think bourbon would be a big enough niche. And so we were going to do beer, bourbon, and barbecue, just man stuff, just do a variety of things to see if we could figure out something that kind of worked and resonated with folks. And we started with bourbon because that's where my passion was, but it obviously proved that it was a large enough niche. But now, it took off so quick, there's no changing the name. And if I'd have known I would be called that for the rest of my life, I would have picked something more masculine.
More masculine than Brewzle?
Yeah, it's Brewzle, Brewzy. I get that a lot,
Oh, you get Brewzy a lot? Okay, yeah.
Anything that ends in LE, especially ZLE, it's cute. It's like a teddy bear, right? It's not like Bourbon Crusher, something like that.
Oh yeah, Bourbon Crusher, something a little bit more. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Aaron says, I am hosting a tasting and bottle share for 8 young 22 to 27-year-old bourbon fans. Took 5 of them on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail last year. Yeah, I think that's all you need for more people to fall in love with it. Once you hit that Kentucky Bourbon Trail, man, it's this is a good one. How about just Bruiser? That would have been kind of cool.
Brewzle. We actually looked at several kind of like that.
Or Bunzel.
And it's like every name I had was awful compared to Brewzle, and I was like, we're just gonna roll with it. So we're a whiskey channel with a beer logo. It makes no sense, but it's working.
So if you don't like IPAs, what do you like? I'm a stout and porter guy. That's what I go to.
I usually a good red ale, a brown ale, something heavy but not too hoppy.
Yeah.
The funny thing is I kind of like malty beers, but I don't like malty whiskey.
Bowser. Well, I think you might get sued by Nintendo if you have that. Brewzle. That's pretty cool. You might have to take some karate classes, but that's pretty cool. Let's see. The tariffs need to be lowered or completely removed from liquor store sales overseas in Canada. Turn around and improve all the issues having for lost sales overseas and Canada. Yeah, but again, it is hurting brands, but it's really hurting those bigger brands. Give TJ that Goose Island. IPAs are awful. T Jizzle? No, I don't think that's going to work, Little Barry. A lot of the big distillers are getting hit from bar sales dropping. I still think the enthusiast crowd keeps the craft game going. Yeah, for sure. And again, it's a weird time. We're still coming out of this huge lift in the whiskey market coming out of the pandemic. So that was liquor and bourbon sales like we've never seen before. So the market correction was a little bit due. Let me see here. Was there one other bottle I felt like? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this in the news. I don't know if you saw this, Brewzle, but just talking about Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare. There's now a 30-year Eagle Rare. Debuts the oldest age-stated bourbon in Buffalo Trace history. The people that I've been joking around saying the people that bought an Eagle Rare 25 are going to be pissed because now they have a 30-year, 101 proof, and price will be $12,500. I mean, there you go. There's your premium bottle.
Yeah. Wonder how many of those years it's been in the refrigerator.
Right. I can't.
It's cheating. It's cheating. It's cheating.
It's
technically legal. It's cheating.
You think that they just took some barrels or whatever and just like totally frosted them?
I have no inside knowledge, but why do you have a big refrigerated warehouse if you're not taking 18-year-old barrels and rolling them in there for 12 years and then putting them out as 30-year-old whiskey, even though they haven't aged for the last 12 years?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that's probably why they wrap it in such beautiful packaging, and then charge us $12,000 for it. It's crazy, man. It's wild to see age statements like that these days. We saw Blade and Bow had a 30-year. That was actually really delicious. It's
so good.
Yeah, I tried to get a bottle of that, but it just hasn't dropped in my lap yet.
I tried someone's this weekend and it was fantastic. But honestly, those bottles are not for us. That Eagle Rare is not, it's not the enthusiast market. That's the collector market.
Yeah.
So it's not for me. It's just like them coming out with a Maybach, right? Like just, it's not for me. You know, you came out with a new fancy watch or something. It's cool. It's just not what I'm buying. It's
those are for the
whiskey in there.
Those are for the guys that wear like giant clunky Gucci sneakers, designer jeans. They're driving their Ferraris, and they're just going to leave that shit on the shelf. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't get upset at those folks, and I don't get upset at Buffalo Trace for releasing it. Heck, I would too. I was like, man, you're going to pay how much for a bottle of whiskey? You let me put them out. See how many I can make. I'm all for it. I just, a lot of folks get upset about it. It's just not for us. It's not for drinking. It's a statue. You're buying a statue.
What's up, guys? Cheers. Has TJ tried any drum key? I actually sent TJ a sample of the ride cymbal. You want to get into that one?
It was actually beautiful. I was trying it while you were going through this Jack Daniels over here.
Oh, you were tasting a little bit?
Yeah, I was having a little sippy poo right here.
All right, have a sippy poo. See, Brewzle, you can't have a tough name and say shit like sippy poo. I'm just saying.
I know. So you got to be on the. It's an inside joke. I don't know if y'all have ever seen the guy. I think he's Scottish or something, and he's like hammered, and he's giving like some sort of review on how to drink whiskey, and he's like, "I just a little sippy poo." Anyway, it's a bad inside joke.
So that is that's my ride cymbal blend. I called it from Drum Key Spirits. It's 118.6 proof. It's a blend that I did of Green River cast strength rye and a little bit of MGP rye. And then I threw in a 10-year rye that was aged in an Elijah Craig 23-year barrel into that blend as well. Yeah.
It's like a nice soft rye spice with like kind of a graham cracker, honey covered graham cracker, vanilla. So it's basically like a s'more, but you just replace the chocolate with a nice rye spice.
Yeah, there's a nice berry note in there too if you dive for it. Little bit of a blackberry note, I call it.
That's nice. I like that a lot. What's the proof on that?
118.6.
So what's a bottle of that cost?
Well, for non-members of Barrel King, it's $179.99.
Okay.
It's through
bottle.
It's through Barrel King over there, and if you're a member, I think you only get it for like $125, something like that. Yeah.
It's beautiful though. Good job on that.
I appreciate it, man. All right, so if you want, start pouring out your samples, A through E, or A through F, I should say. In the meantime, I'll let everybody know. So here's where we are, guys. Let me see. Do I have a bracket up here? Oh, I don't have the latest bracket up here. Okay, give me 1 second. Well, I'll just kind of talk your way through it. So we are on the left side of the bracket for Blendageddon 8. So these are the top 6 blends from the first after week 1, week 3, and week 5. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 17 blends that got weeded down to 6. So who made this bracket? We have John Porter with Stellar Stash, Jeff Perkins with It Must Be Nice, Wallace Hare with Not Drum Key, Bo's Wine Guy with his Cinnamon Toast Punch, Bourbon Hall with Anti-Taters Reserve, and Jeff Aldis with his Secret Knock Reserve. So those are the contenders that are going to be going head to head tonight. So we have these all in a specific order. So Brewzle and I both have the same order. So we're going to taste through these, rank them. We have to pick the top 2. And TJ, if you want, what we'll do is if there's a third in the running, I may put one of those aside to possibly make the wild card. So we do have a wild card spot for the finals, and we'll see how that goes.
So I've agreed to come on here and make 4 people very mad at me. Got it.
More likely 3, but maybe a 4th, depending on who gets the wild card. So Kraken says, I have a fake Rolex. There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
That's how you do it. I don't hate on people who have Rolexes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a watch.
It's not for me. I got thick wrists. What am I gonna do with a Rolex? Break it, damage it.
What would I do with a Rolex? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my phone tells time.
I know, but it's a status thing. And Rolex kind of went by the way of whiskey in ways when whiskey was super popular, where you felt like everything was super limited and they were holding things back. And so Rolex kind of did the same thing with their business model, and you couldn't get one. I still feel like you still can't get one. Like you have to wait. You have to get on a waiting list in order to get an actual Rolex, which is probably part of their marketing strategy.
It is that Ferrari strategy, right?
Yep. Same shit you do with a Folex. Yeah. I would happily, let me see. Did the Mets get a win? Oh my God, the Mets won a game.
Oh no.
Holy shit. It happened. Okay. Well, I'm going to take a minute.
What sport is that? Baseball?
That's baseball. My team is the New York Mets. They have lost 12 games in a row, and they finally won a game tonight. They broke the curse. So be careful, Brewzle. Watch Tube is going to come after you. Yeah, dude. Those watch guys are. You think whiskey?
I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, I don't really collect things.
You think whiskey? You think Whiskey Tube has some crazy guys in it? Fucking, there's nothing like Watch Tube.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
I'm not really a big watch guy, but I mean, I have a couple nice watches, but I don't sit there and, you know. Oh, Nancy's here. We got Nancy. Oh, Whiskey Blend. Nancy Fraley's here, guys. What's up, Nancy? Nice to see you, Nancy. I hope you got my care package. I'm not sure if you're traveling yet, but I sent you the samples you wanted. Hopefully you got those. We got the world's worst bourbon channels here. What's going on? Nice to see you, man. Both you guys are awesome. Thanks for the live stream. Cheers. Appreciate that. We have 616 people in the chat. Guys, while you're here, if you're new here, please hit that like button below, and it's free. And if you're thinking about subscribing to the channel, please do. I do a bunch of videos each week and shorts and all that fun stuff, mainly like deep dives into some whiskey reviews. So if that's your type of thing, then yeah, think about subbing. All right, so we're going to start with letter A. I'm going to write in order, okay?
Okay.
We'll talk about some things along the way. Just shout out whatever notes you get. And let me grab the notebook here because I've been keeping track of all these, and we can go from there.
They're all not too dissimilar on the nose. They're all kind of, there's one a little earthier, but I'm thinking some folks went in some similar directions here, so it'll be fun.
Possibly. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the little things. The little things in these blends. Is it a better finish? Is it a better texture? Those are the things that are going to separate it.
All right. First one, go ahead.
Letter A. Kind of getting like toasted nuts in this one.
Okay.
Jason, are you going to get the Peerless 10-year? Curious of your thoughts. I feel, yeah, I definitely want to get the Peerless 10-year for sure. Definitely sweet.
See, for me, it's going a little more cherry cola.
I think that's
it's kind of dark. You know?
I think that's the sweetness I have coming through. Is the it's a fruit sweetness. I couldn't pick it up right away. Yeah, I could see I could see that. Definitely a little bit of cherry there.
Not as much on the palate though.
No, I got to try it. Cheers, man. Thanks for coming on.
Much more cherry cola on the nose. Am I supposed to be writing things down?
You don't have to. I got you. You're all right.
Okay.
So we have cherry. I get a little cherry on the
it's a little there. It's not quite as cherry cola, right?
No.
For me, it's cherry with more of a caramel undertone than a cola undertone. Not quite as sweet on the palate as it is on the nose for me.
I totally get it. Yeah.
It's usually really sweet. If I say cola, it's just going to be like really sweet on the palate. And I feel like this tones down to more of a caramel.
Way more baking spice heavy on the finish than I thought it was going to be. A lot of like black pepper, tea, some of that stuff.
Very spicy. Leaves you with a nice spicy finish though. So it's kind of sweet up front, and then that spice starts coming through on the mid palate, and then that spice just lingers for days.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of this one is that, and people that know my palate, they know I love a long finish. So I'm wondering if that was the direction they went with here. Jason, would you pay 200 SRP for that Peerless 10 year? It's a great question. Yeah, 200 is steep, but I mean, I probably would, just because, again, it's kind of the whiskey enthusiast. I want to know what Peerless tastes like at 10 years. So I probably would. I want to know like what that tastes like. Is the SRP? Oh, it is. The SRP is 200. Yeah, I'd buy it for, I'd buy it once and see how it goes, and we'll see what Peerless is like at a higher age statement. I mean, most of their barrel picks are on the younger side, even though they're delicious. So I want to taste it at 10 years and see what that looks like.
Yeah, I just think they're, I mean, in my amateur opinion, I guess, my unknowing opinion, my uninformed opinion, they're just pricing themselves out of the enthusiast market a little bit. Like, everything is just so expensive. Their high rye single barrels are like $170 for something that's like, I don't know, was it 6-7 years old? And so their pricing is just wild all over the place, every store you go into. And that's because most stores are like, I got to discount this to get rid of it because it's been sitting here for 8 months. And so they're positioning themselves as a premium brand. And I think they should be like a touch below. They're going with Michter's pricing on their older stuff, but they don't have the Michter's pricing on their regular release stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a Michter's 10, okay, that commands a price. That's delicious. But you can just go get a normal Michter's, not that expensive. Peerless isn't like that. It's like double everything.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. And I never saw Peerless as a premium brand ever. I don't know if it's because it's the bottle shape or whatever it is. Like, Michter's bottles, I'm saying aside from just the shelfers, there's an elegance to them. I never really got that from Peerless. So, and if you're just like visually, if you're looking at a bottle look wise, Michter's looks more premium, overall. But yeah, I always thought, Peerless, when they first came out and they had their 3-4 year rye and that hit the market for about $120, everybody thought that was nuts. And their stuff has kind of just gone up a little bit over time. I do know, they use a sweet mash process. They're, everything's a little bit more expensive to make. I get it. But yeah, when you're kind of pricing, 3, 4, 5 year stuff at, $100 plus, it could be definitely a tough sell.
But if they weren't selling it, they would quit doing it. So good for them.
Yeah. And their barrel picks are phenomenal. Some of the most unique picks I've had have been from Peerless. And I think that's what keeps
great whiskey.
Yeah, and that's what keeps the curiosity going. Matt Carter with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Matt. Do you guys collect anything outside of bourbon? Well, everybody knows my thing. I collect sneakers and shoes. I love sneakers. I'm kind of a Nike head, and I don't know. I kind of get into that. So what about you, TJ? Is there anything else you collect?
I don't collect anything. I use stuff. Like, I have a few cars, but I don't collect them. I use them. They're not, collection is stuff you rarely use, or you don't want to get dirty. I don't know. I don't have that bug. I don't like just looking at things. I want to break them.
So we could say your other hobby is breaking things.
Yeah, as much as possible.
Okay, that's fair. I like it. All right, let's go to B. What's the sneaker of choice today? Today I actually have my favorite Jordan silhouette on, Jordan 3s. And these are the UNCs. These are the Jordan 3 North Carolinas. Jordan's alma mater. So just got these on today.
I saw somebody in the chat calling out my Skechers a little while ago. Yes, that's exact. Memory foam? Dude, come on. It's comfortable. What are you talking about?
You got those slip-ins, DJ? You got those slip-ins, buddy?
Hell yeah, I got those slip-ins. I'm not tying shoes. Fat as I am, you think I'm bending over to tie shoes all day? Heck no.
TJ's like, yeah, I'm not bending over to tie anything. I got to have slip-ins going. We got Top Jimmy with gifted 10 Master Drum memberships. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Top Jimmy, as always. Jason C. collect. I can't pull off Hey Dudes. That's not my thing. I can't do that.
Oh, I got a pair of those. I just use them for the beach because I don't like flip-flops.
Yeah. I could see using them for the beach maybe, but I can't pull those off. I know guys who just wear those all summer long. I got those like wide ass Italian winemaking feet. They just don't look right in Hey Dudes.
Well, I mean, if I wear those, you're gonna see me, okay, walking around in my jeans, my Columbia shirt with those, you know, with some Air Force Ones on, and you'll be like, "What's this guy's problem?" Okay, what's going? What this redneck just stole those from somebody.
I could see you rocking Air Force Ones. You're a bigger dude. I've seen a lot of big dudes rock Air Force Ones. You could rock those.
Yeah, but you know they're gonna have their beard, you know, all straightened, and you know I'm not doing that.
You're staying with the Skechers slip-ins. I see you. Okay. All right. I just bought a Frey Ranch store pick. Yeah, some of those Frey Ranch store picks are unbelievably good. All right, what are you getting on B?
This one is actually, when I first went through, they smelled very, very similar. I feel like on the nose, the spiciness, maybe that little bit of nuttiness you mentioned, is actually amped up, a little amplified on the nose. So it's still kind of that you know, cherry cola, maybe not quite as cherry because that spiciness is coming through a little harder, but I still like it's very similar to the first one.
This is very baking spicy. I feel like I'm picking up some rye in here. I'm getting like a little bit of there's like a slight licorice note I'm picking up here.
Okay.
The baking spices are heavy.
I try to avoid licorice notes as much as possible, but the baking spice is very heavy.
Yeah, I'm with you with the licorice. I hate black licorice. 600 viewers. Let's go share and like the stream. Thank you, Matt.
Much subtler, not as complex as the first one.
Much earthier too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Most of the flavors here to me kind of muddy in the mid palate. And so it's good, but it like the last one evolved a little bit. You got hit with that sweetness and then that spiciness came through and the spice evolved on the finish. And this one is just kind of almost nondescript sweetness up front. All the flavors are in the middle, and then it just kind of leaves me without a lot on the finish.
Yeah, I think muddy is kind of a good word to describe it. Now, a lot of these blends have been sitting in their sample jars for weeks, even months. So, as you know, with blends, as these sit, they could get better, they can get worse. So, and that's really the testament to the blenders and the blending in this competition. Because if you've really made a great blend, it's only going to get better as it goes forward. But unfortunately, sometimes they get worse. I think in this one, it's still a solid blend, but there's just nothing standing out here for me enough.
Yeah. No, it's good whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
It's some small brand had handed that to me. I'll be like, oh man, y'all got some good stuff.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the complexity of A.
Yeah. All right, let's go to sample C. See what we got here. Let's see. Yeah. Welcome all the Brewzle peeps in here.
This one definitely gets more grain forward, more funky, earthy on the nose for me.
Yeah, this one's definitely funky. I don't mind the funk.
Like they might have thrown some Frey Ranch in there or something. Like it's getting some of that funk, you know. Maybe some Old Dominic. They get some of that funkiness on it, which I like. It's a good note, but not for everybody.
You think there's some weeded whiskey or weeded bourbon in here? I should say.
Yeah. That's probably what the funkiness is coming from wheat.
That's what I feel like I get in
weeded definitely bourbon. Wheat funk for sure. Yeah.
Air Force One was a big hit in '86. Yes, they were. I have a couple pairs of Air Force Ones, but not a lot of them.
That dominates the nose. It is just that kind of earthy, funky, almost spicy, which, you know, wheat can kind of come across that way sometimes for me.
Tried the first drum key at Spillway. Good job, Jason. Oh, well, that's cool. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, that's got a lot of wheat in it. Or at least the wheat's very strong with it.
Oh, wow. There's got to be some wheat whiskey, wheated bourbon in that. That's all I taste.
Are there any rules to what they can choose?
So, as I told you earlier before we went live, as long as it's available, if you could walk into a store and find it. Now, obviously, look, you know just as well as everybody, what you have locally could be extremely different than what someone else has. But I still wanted to keep it to the point where you could walk in your store, you can find these bottles and remake this blend, whatever ends up winning, you know, the best blend. So that's really what the goal
it doesn't
is.
have to be bourbon. They could have used wheat whiskey. They could have used rye. They could have used anything.
It's an American blend. This is the American category, so you can use a wheat whiskey, you could use a wheated bourbon, you could use regular bourbon, you could use rye. As long as it's an American whiskey, you can use it.
Going back to, I mean, the thing's got great legs to it, and kind of coming back to it.
What's up, John Cloud?
The nose gets better. Like now that I've had a little sip of it, the nose lightens up. That kind of funkiness, that earthiness lightens up. I get almost like a kind of a craft root beer, like sarsaparilla note undertone on it, which wheat can do. A lot of wheat whiskeys do that for me.
Sarsaparilla is an interesting note. I think I could see where you're coming from with that. Like for me, I'm getting a ton of like that. Again, that spice is maybe where you're thinking of that sarsaparilla for you. But for me, I'm getting spice and I'm getting honey, which screams wheat whiskey to me.
Well, that's exactly what I get on the palate. It's not there. I'm on the nose. It's a little sweeter.
Yeah.
A little more well-rounded. On the palate, it is very much just kind of that honey.
It's not Texas funk. It's not Texas funk.
No. It's not. No, you don't want that. It's wheat funk. Most wheats have a funkiness. That's one of the interesting things about Weller Antique 107 to me. It doesn't have a lot of funkiness, but almost everybody else does. Maker's Mark, that's funky to me.
Maker's Mark definitely has a weird wheat funk that's different than anyone else's. At least, to me as well. Nancy Fraley coming up with the edumacation. Well, funk can come from so many sources. It could also be acetylide, acetaldehyde, which comes from the head's distillation fraction with green apple hay and a bit of must, sometimes found in wheat whiskey. Yeah. I feel like I get that more in wheat whiskey than usually anything else. I do find it in some wheated bourbons, but generally I get those in younger wheated bourbons. The higher the wheated bourbon is aged, the more I usually like it. Richie, the competitors are on the bottom of the screen there.
The more craft whiskey I drink, the more I like odd flavors like that, though. I really like this one. It's, to me, so far, definitely above B. I probably have to go back between it and A, those, to see which one I like better.
Acetaldehyde. Everyone's like now phonetically spelling it out. It's so funny. Hey, Women of Whiskeys is here. What's going on? Sadly enough, well-aged wheated bourbon to buy. Sadly, not enough well-aged wheated bourbon to buy. All right, let's go to... Yeah, I'm with you, though. I like C over B. I think there's more going on. I'm still not sure I like it more than A. But let's go to the D. Let's see what we get.
Let's go to the D. Everybody likes the D.
It's just a universal joke. Everybody gets it.
I know. Except for my wife. She's mad at me right now because she's probably watching.
Here's to the 9s and 1s. Cheers, everybody. Heraclitus Select. What's going on? Either of you had any 2-Bitch Spirits offerings? They're a small craft distillery out of Eugene, Nevada. I have. I've had that stuff. It's pretty good. What are you getting here?
I mean, we're back more in the vein of A and B.
Yep.
Without that kind of wheated funk.
Yeah, I'm not getting any funk here. I don't think there's any more funk going on. Yeah.
It's
a little bit bolder in the nose here than the other ones.
But it's not to be in the palate.
Oh, you tasted it already? I got to taste it.
It's kind of nondescript. Like it's good sweet whiskey, but this is that, like, there's just nothing there that my palate really gravitates towards that I love. It's just, that's good. Like if I had this bottle, it would be a cocktail mixer.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah, again, just a little bit flat on that one. I get it.
The nose is really good, though.
Yeah, it definitely smells good.
This one feels like it oxidized. Like it feels like it might have been bolder and more punchy, basically with that, especially with that nose. But maybe, if I would have grabbed this one off my shelf, I'd have been like, okay, this one probably oxidized a bit. It just mellowed, right?
Yeah. This one again, it's a little bit like B, where there's some things to it, but it just got a little bit muddy, maybe.
Yeah. And it's dry. Like it's just like my palate is just completely dried out from that one.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit high proof too.
That's probably why it's so punchy on the nose.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of kick on it from on the back of the palate too, but yeah, maybe. Sounds like it faded over time. Possibly, like to TJ's point, it might have oxidized a little bit. All right, let's go to E. See what we got here. Ooh, E has a nice nose. This is sweet. A little more subtle though, too. Again.
Yeah, but it's complex and beautiful.
Yeah, I dig the nose here. Ooh, this has some legs too. Look at that. This one's oily.
I'm so disappointed if this one doesn't taste like that. Nice soft baking spice.
For sure.
Sweet fruit. Like that is really complex on the nose.
I get like juicy fruit, gum, caramel. There's a lot going on here.
Oh yeah. The palate's not quite to the nose level, but it's actually really solid. You kind of get that little hint of juicy fruit up front, and then that kind of mellows out into a nice soft caramel with a little spiciness in the mid palate. I think the only thing keeping it down a little is it's a little lacking on the finish.
Yeah, the finish. The one thing it also has, this might be the best viscosity out of all of them so far.
Oh yeah.
I love the oily, and this one sticks to your palate. It's really nice.
This is going to be difficult. That's good whiskey there.
That second sip for me was even better. I mean, I'm with you. I'm not too crazy about the finish, but I love what's going on in the front and mid palate. It has kind of a little bit of a sneaky finish where I kind of call it the flag on the play, a little bit of a late hit, where it kind of comes back a little bit on you. I kind of dig this one. Easily the best viscosity, though.
It'll be interesting because lots of times when you have a blind like this, the one that's different stands out. And I feel like 4 of these kind of leaned into a similar approach.
Yeah.
Obviously different executions, but then that really heavy weeded one stands out because it's completely different than the rest of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it lingering or short-lived finish? It's kind of short-lived in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you do have like a pepperiness that hangs out that just kind of tingles a little bit, but for the most part, it's the viscosity of it that's the best part of it.
It goes away, and then it just kind of reaches back and pinches you on the way down, right?
Yeah,
like
that's a great way to describe it.
It's like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
You forget about it though. I've forgotten about you. Date's over. We're done. I'm headed home, and then you try to text me. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, then you realize you forgot your wallet at the restaurant. You got to go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's go to the last one, letter F. Has Brewzle tried leather and oak? Have you had leather and oak bourbon?
I do not believe so.
It's one out of Ohio here. It's they're making some great stuff.
Nice. This one might have a little weed in it there too.
I agree.
It's kind of like on the nose, some of the things I really liked about the other two that have stood out, but then it's got a little of that weed I like on C as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Shemi is sipping Ride Cymbal. The damn legs on this pour. I'm glad you're enjoying Ride Cymbal, man. Oh, I got
that are complicated.
Did you get like a punch of orange citrus?
Maybe a touch, but for me, it's like honeycomb.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like actual like the natural right out of the comb honey early, and then but that note was so strong to my palate. I got to go back to it because that's all I got first time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like a honeycomb.
Kind of reminded me of this one a little bit. Yeah, maybe not.
Little citrus there. The honeycomb not as strong on the second sip. It is just thick and viscous and coats the mouth. It is like drinking. If you would have told me this was honey finished, I would believe it.
Yeah, it's very. This is just all honey and orange to me.
Lord, how do you rank that though?
I don't know. It's a good
because it's not super complex. It doesn't evolve as much as I want it to, but the one note it does really well.
Yeah, it's got a pretty decent finish on it. Not too bad.
The texture on it is fantastic. Okay, well, we've got the 4 winners. So congratulations. You said find the bottom 2. We did.
Do we have are there any you want to eliminate right away?
B and D.
B and D.
Yeah, B and D for me.
I'm
D
definitely
was the one that was
yeah, I definitely agree with B. B was kind of the muddy one. I agree with that.
Yeah.
D, let me go back and forth here with D.
I mean, D's not bad. None of these are bad, but I'm debating between those 4 for.
Thanks, Stephen Bell. Thanks, Stephen Bell. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Y'all are my 2 favorite streamers, and it ain't close. This is awesome. Appreciate that, man.
Wonder if I could get him to do a hunt video. I think we discussed that a little bit.
We did.
I don't know when it'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah. You just got to tell me when you're ripping through Columbus. That's all.
Okay. I'm sure we'll get up there at some point.
All right. So B and D, I agree. I think we're there. Actually, wait. A, B, C. Yeah, D. Okay. Making sure I have the right ones here. All right. So we have A, C, E, and F.
All right. Now, I say typically when I'm doing this, and this is your show, we do it however you want to. I just want to go back the other way because, these guys were early. Palate was still fresh. And
we generally like to go. Yeah, we generally like to go reverse order. So we could definitely do that. Peerless 10 is supposedly going for $550 already. Secondary, I have an open mind, but I didn't want to spend $600 to get 2. They force you to buy a 3rd bottle if you wanted 2 10 years. Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, if we're going to do a hunting video, I'm going to do it with Brewzle. I don't really do the hunting videos, but yeah. I would love to do one just to hang out and go to some spots. It'll be fun. Okay.
See, now coming back to this one, to F, the nose is like peanut brittle. So it's sweet caramel, a little of that honey note on it, just a touch of like a dusty nuttiness. Oh, I like the nose coming back to it.
Yeah, it's definitely opening up a little bit, I think. Yeah. Yes, you can only get 1 unless you bought any of their other SKUs. So it was $195 plus $195 plus $85 for a small batch. One more. Wow, that's crazy. Did not know they were doing that. Yeah, guys, while you're here.
Wait.
No, I'm just going to say hit the like button while you're here if you haven't yet. Go ahead.
It is acceptable for them to use finished whiskey. Is that so? This could be finished.
Yes, they could use some finishes. Yeah,
okay.
If they wanted to.
Dude, that viscosity of that thing just does not feel natural.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to see if I have a photo of that. Oh, actually, really quick before we do that, I do want to show you guys. I always do the bourbon meme of the week, and I don't think I think I have to kind of go through here and show you guys this before I forget. Bourbon meme of the week. We do this each and every week. We kind of show a funny meme that popped up, and here it is. Today I learned the average whiskey enthusiast owns around 50 bottles, and the average person has less than 2 in their home. Today I learned I'm way above average in something. And there you go. I thought that was kind of funny. There you go. That's our bourbon meme of the week. And we're back. Okay. Yeah, the viscosity on this is really, really good. I'm totally into that. Yep.
Dude,
what do you think about
every time I go back to it?
What are you getting on the palate now on that one, on F?
It's definitely not as much peanut brittle. Like that's just a nose thing. It's still very much kind of honey. The honeycomb is gone now that I've kind of gotten used to it a little bit. And so it's a little simple, but again, it just does simple so well.
Oh, let me go back to comments.
And so it's still kind of honey, a little bit of citrus there on the end of it. And then it leaves you with just a soft, sweet. It's a little drying on the finish, but in a good way, right? To contrast that kind of super viscous texture. So
yeah, the viscosity of it's the best part, easily.
Like it is just draining down the glass.
Dan,
do you know what's in these? Can I find out at the end of this?
So the ones that get eliminated, we find out what's in them, but not the ones moving on.
So that one's out. We're eliminating that one.
Bought a Jackson Purchase full proof this weekend. I've not had a chance to open it. What's your opinion? Really, really great whiskey. I believe it's 100 and gosh, what was that again? 107 proof, 108 proof. It's cast strength. Well, maybe it's not cast strength. I can't remember, but it's so Stephen Beam distilled it. So it has a beamy quality to it, but it's like a beam flavor profile with a little touch more fruit than just like your honey roasted peanut what you would normally get with Beam. It's a really great bottle. I'm really looking forward to batch 2 this year. Batch 1 was really good. So 117 proof. Sorry, I said 107 because maybe we were talking about antique, but 117 proof. All right, so now we're back on E.
Yeah, the Jackson Purchase I have is actually really solid. It's a little young.
Yeah,
in a couple of years, it's going to be fantastic, though.
Yeah, that stuff in a couple of years is going to be redonkulous. So
see this. I come back to this, and this has that licorice note to it now. Is this the one you said had the licorice note that you picked up first time through?
Let me see. Wait, black licorice?
Yeah, kind of a little bit on the nose, right? If I don't get too close to it, that spiciness kind of comes through as a licorice.
I love the spice on this. It's so good. It's so pronounced.
Really good.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. It's not as complex going back to it now that my palate is kind of acclimated to whiskey a little bit here, but yeah, it's still beautiful.
Again, more leaning into the baking spices here and and those like the star anise, the allspice, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry, not allspice. Allspice is more like clove. I don't really think I'm getting a lot of clove in here, but I think this is more like that star anise type of flavor profile. A little bit like that fennel, a little bit of not so much black licorice, a little bit fresher than that. Yes, Jackson Purchase is their own distillate. Yeah.
Definitely weeded in this.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my palate's picking that up now. I like it though. That one, super complex. It's not as like wheat funk forward. I literally had to go back to it 2 or 3 times before I'm like, yeah, there's definitely wheat in that.
It's a spicy weeder, I would say.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. They've done a great job blending that because it does feel like they're using several, like this one, if I believe it's this one, really leans into the wheat. This one does a much better job of balancing that versus some spice. So really good blend here.
Yeah, like I said, Stephen Beam is the distiller over there at Jackson Purchase. They've been doing contract distilling for years, but now they're starting to come out with their own stuff. I guess, it's kind of a good thing once you kind of hit your own stride and you hit your certain age statement, you start putting out your own stuff. So it's pretty cool. All right, let's go to, what do we have? Oh, yeah, letter C. Letter C now. Oh, this is funky. Has this gotten more funky?
Yeah. It's drier. It's very kind of dry, soft graham cracker, like that. Really, that honey coated graham cracker comes forward for me with all of that kind of wheat funk underneath it.
See,
I like it though.
I really like that.
Are we just gonna pick the ones that the wheat is so strong? Your palate
it is, but it's like
the bourbon, and then the wheat stands out. And I'm just afraid we're picking the ones that have that funkiness because that flavor is so strong and it stands out so much.
And you know what's funny? I'm not really a big wheated bourbon guy. Like I like some of them, but it's hard for me to like wheated bourbons. I guess call me a wheated bourbon bougie palate because I really like the William LaRue Wellers and the high age wheaters of the world. But this has what's going to be hilarious though, dude, is we go through these and we're like, there's some wheat in this and wheat in here, and then we find out there's no fucking wheat in any of these.
Oh, dude, I got no ego tied up in this. I'm wrong on everything. I'm not a bourbon judge. The reason we don't do reviews is my opinion doesn't matter. So I know what I like. I don't have to be. As somebody who's trying to make whiskey, I am trying to train my palate to pick up certain flavors and what certain things are.
Yeah.
But like one thing you'll find about me, if you really know me, is I like to have very strongly held opinions because they're usually very well researched. And I like to be wrong with those opinions because that means I learned something.
Yeah.
So, that's just evolution because I want to get better at what I'm trying to do here. So please tell me that doesn't have wheat in it. Please do. Please.
I think the ones that we've called out that have wheat in it, I really feel like they do. So if there's no wheated bourbon in it, and if it's just a symptom of whatever they put together, then that's actually going to probably interest me even more because I'm going to want to know what's making that funkiness,
Because this has like some of the old Dominics have that earthy funkiness, and sometimes my palate will read that as wheat.
Yeah,
and it's not like it's their Tennessee whiskey or it's their high rye bourbon. And so sometimes that happens and it doesn't have wheat in it. I still think this one does, but who knows?
The Green River Foolproof Wheated is my favorite wheater. Yep, with that peachiness that it's got. I tried Old over a whole 11-year cast strength this past weekend. It was awesome. It was better than Knob Creek 18 and 20. Oh, the Old Overholt 11-year. I see what he's saying. What else? Have you tried somebody was asking about the Southern Grace Conviction French Oak. No, I have not tried the Conviction French Oak. I have their regular Conviction, and I'm a big fan of their double oaks, especially the double oak barrel picks. I didn't even know they were doing a French Oak. That sounds great. I love French Oak.
What's Southern Grace? What's this brand? I don't know of them.
Southern Grace is Conviction, and they literally age their whiskey in an old jail cell.
Okay, I've been told about them a few times. I just didn't recognize the brand name.
Yeah, the old prison cell. So I believe they're in South Carolina, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the story I've been told. I just didn't remember the brand.
Yeah,
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, definitely check them out. I'm trying to get there later next year to do a barrel pick. I really would love to do one of their double oaks. So yeah, them and Broad and Branch are both in North Carolina. Okay, they're in North Carolina.
Yeah, Broad Branch is in Winston-Salem.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do a double visit there. Okay.
If you need me to hook you up with the folks at Broad Branch, they're some of the nicest people on the planet.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. A.
Dude, this is going to be difficult.
A is delicious. A's into me. A makes it. A has, I
agree, but like, what's the second? What else makes it through is going to be so tough.
That's where we're going to have to navigate. So whatever A is, congrats, you made it in. A is delicious.
Is like very traditional Kentucky style bourbon, and I hope to God none of the ingredients were made in Kentucky. But it is just a really good, complex, easy sipping, fantastic whiskey. So kudos to whoever blended that one.
It's just got all the notes you want. It's got cherry, it's got vanilla, it's got that toffee, it's got spice. It's got a little viscosity. That might be the only thing that's missing here is like a super rich viscosity, but I think the flavors and the layers make up for it.
I agree. Well, it's light though, but that makes it approachable.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants that super heavy. Like I love this super heavy, oily, viscous. Yeah. That right there, man, you just drink that all night, no problem.
Yeah. All right, so let's rest our palates for a little bit before we try to make our second selection. I got a little game I like to play, the 7 Whiskey Challenge, and I kind of built this for you, so we're gonna go through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you these different categories here: your cheap mixer, your daily drinker, your Friday night pour, your impress your guest pour, your special occasion, your underrated bottle, and your personal favorite. Now, what I have is a wheel of different distilleries. And whatever distillery it lands on, you have to pick the bottle from the distillery that fits in that category. Make sense?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Here we go.
You know, some of these distilleries, but okay, go for it.
We'll get there. We have some of your favorites in here.
I'll pick something.
All right, you guys
be right.
You guys see the wheel?
Okay. I can't see the distillery, so
it'll pop up. You'll see it.
Kind of low. Okay.
You'll see it. Okay. Here we go. I'll call it out for you. So this is going to be your cheap mixer. So give me your cheap mixer from Pursuit Spirits.
I mean, cheap.
Do they even have a cheap mixer?
I don't think so. I mean, they definitely leaned a little more into enthusiast whiskey out of the gate. My favorite from them, though, that I don't know if I'd mix it though, but this is what I'm gonna call out. I mean, I don't know how firm these rules are, but their distillery only double oak, that first batch they did, fantastic whiskey. Absolutely love that one. Very kind of butterscotch vanilla forward. I'm going to drink it neat. I'm going to mix it. I've gotten rid of a couple of those bottles. So,
yeah, that is definitely that's one of my favorites as well, because I'm a butterscotch fiend. If I can find butterscotch in anything, and whatever, I know they used some crazy barrel char select that they utilized to try to make an old school whiskey, and I think they nailed it. So great choice there. Okay.
A lot of folks are saying they have an 88 proof stuff out. Haven't had it. Don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, don't know about that one yet. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Don't buy 88 proof whiskey if I can avoid it.
All right, so your next choice is going to be, oh man, is it going to be Dickel? Oh no, it's Penelope. So Penelope, you have to choose from Penelope or daily drinker. If you could pick a daily drinker from Penelope, where would you go?
The Penelope Cask Strength, the red label Cask Strength, one of my favorite bottles early on, when they started blowing up. And that I haven't had the new one that's like age stated. What's it, like an 8 year or something like that? But
yeah, they have a new age stated Cask Strength coming out. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one as far as daily drinker you can regularly get. It's that one for sure, 100%. All right. Nailed that one. We screwed up the first one. Nailed that one.
All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see what your next category is, or your next choice, I should say. And this one is, looks like you're going to get Bardstown Bourbon Company. Okay. All right, so for Bardstown Bourbon Company, you got to give me your Friday night pour, a step up in quality for the end of the week. What do you got?
Oh, what was the discovery that had the it had like the old wild turkey, or was it buff turkey in it? I forget which disco that was.
That was either 11. That was either 11 or 12.
Whichever one that is.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat, let me know that's smarter than me. But it's gonna be like, if I'm gonna go to Bardstown, I've got it over there somewhere. All my Bardstown stuff's right down there. That's the one. If I want to step it up just a notch. Now the problem is you're never going to replace that bottle. But it's freaking delicious.
I believe it's, I think Disco 11 was the one that everyone kind of went crazy for, that had the buff turkey in it. So we'll say Disco 11 for that one. Okay. All right. There you go. So you're doing all right. Here we go. Next one, guys.
I gotta know what I'm doing.
You know what you're doing.
Yes, just enough to make it seem like I know what I'm doing.
Oh, that's it, because we called them out. It's going to be Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark is going to be your, what is your impress your guess from Maker's Mark?
I mean, the latest cellar aged is the best cellar aged, so it's got to be that. The Star Hill Farms is a fun thing too, because like when people come here, if you get lucky enough to get invited here, we're going to try to tell a story. We're going to try to start, like, I'm going to let you set the starting point, and then we're going to go on a journey. And so Star Hill Farms being a wheat whiskey is something that a lot of people have not had. And so, you know, it's cellar aged is cool. That's a cool story, but we're probably going to end up on that Star Hill Farms just because that's so different for a guest versus what most people have been able to try.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of what they did with the Star Hill Farms wheat whiskey. Love the proof, love the flavor profile of it. It's one of those ever-changing whiskeys where every time I went back to it, I got something different, and that was great to see from Maker's Mark without that like sour milk wheat funk that I got in some of their other products. So
Yukon Wit says BEP. The BEP 01, 02s were actually pretty.
Oh yeah,
FAE. FAE was my jam. Yeah.
FAE 2, I think, ended up being my favorite. Sagamore. Okay. So Sagamore is going to be your special occasion pour.
We're falling apart on this one. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a lot of Sagamore. I don't have any Sagamore that's my special occasion bottle, right? So what's the older? I have like an older Sagamore. What's the older?
So you have the one they released. So the last few years they've released an 8, a 9, and a 10-year.
I think I have the 10-year around here somewhere. So we'll say that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I like it. Sagamore makes great whiskey. I'm not knocking Sagamore brand, but like none of the bottles I have are like, let's hold this for, you know, special occasion.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're like super special occasion pours, but I do think the Sagamore 10-year is a very, very, very good rye that I think if people weren't, great whiskey. So, okay.
It's very hard to have a rye be a special occasion. It happens. I've got one over there that you need to try, but it doesn't happen a lot.
Oh, 1792. This one will be interesting. All right, 1792. This is pretty interesting because I definitely have a thought on this one. Your underrated bottle from 1792.
How many people do I want to make mad at me from a major distillery? I don't know.
You're not saying anything bad. You're saying underrated. So
there's not an underrated bottle from 1792. They're all properly rated. And the 1792 single barrels and full proofs are fine whiskey. But they're not enthusiast whiskey. They're just good. They're good, affordable bottles of whiskey. They very much lean into that commodity market with a little bit of an elevated price point and a little bit of an elevated experience. The only bottle from 1792 that I ever go back to is the 12-year.
Oh, the 12-year. Okay.
Yeah.
But do you think the 12-year is underrated though?
No, I think it's adequately rated, but it's the most underrated of them. So it's the closest to being underrated.
You could definitely make a case for 1792 12-year being underrated because nobody ever talks about it.
Yeah, but I think most people that have had it are like, this is pretty dang good.
My bottle from 1792. Yeah, my bottle from 1792 that I actually think is underrated, especially the barrel picks, is the Bottled and Bond. The Bottled and Bond 1792. When you find really good barrel picks of those, they could be like an old school toffee butterscotch bomb of a whiskey. And that's why I like those more than anything. But unfortunately, you have to kind of weed through some of the regular tasting ones before you find one of those gems.
And it's fair. It's a fair argument to say that the whole 1792 lineup is underrated in the enthusiast market for the price that those are sold at. Like they're all really good whiskey, but I'm looking for very distinctive, interesting flavors. And those are just good Kentucky style whiskey, right?
Yep,
so
totally
doesn't capture my imagination, but it's good whiskey at a great
all right,
price.
Last one. Oh my God, are you going to get Buffalo Trace for your last one? Look at this.
Nice, thank God.
All right, all right. This is it. Your personal favorite bottle from this distillery.
William LaRue.
William LaRue Weller.
LaRue. Yeah.
There you go.
LaRue Weller. That is I buy every one I can at a reasonable-ish price. I will pay a secondary, not full secondary, but I will pay a markup on those because we drink them. I don't finish them a lot here because I do try to save them for guests as much as possible. But if I'm just like, I feel like having a great pour of whiskey, I don't want to try anything weird. I just want something great. I will grab a William LaRue and I'll have a pour.
What was your opinion on William LaRue Weller? Did you try the 2025 version?
Maybe. I don't know if I've tried the 25, honestly. No, I had the 25. I think I have the 25.
Okay.
I think I have the 12. I like it. I like them all. Like
I'm not
splitting hairs on WLW. We're not like, I like this one over that. I'm not that guy. I'm never like, this batch is way better than this batch. You need the 2017. No, they're all great, man. I'm enjoying the hell out of them. Why are we splitting hairs, making it not fun?
Like I like it because like a lot of people love the GTS from last year, the hazmat one. I actually thought it was kind of shit compared to other GTSs.
Okay, let's not get out of hand. Okay, I know this is your show, but let's not. Okay, yes, I agree. The hazmat version, it sold because it's hazmat. It was not as complex and interesting as some of the previous years.
Thank you for saying that.
Shit. You can't say that. It's
not shit, but
it's not. It's still one of the best whiskeys that came out last year. It's just not quite as subtle and sophisticated as some previous years.
Well, here's why I'm salty about it, because I overpaid to get that fucking hazmat bottle, and I should have chosen the William LaRue Weller, which was way better last year. So
yeah, I overpaid for that one too.
Yeah, that's why
I still paid way under secondary.
Yeah,
I'm normally like, I'll get it if I can get it. MSRP, anywhere up to double MSRP, I'll buy it.
Yeah,
I paid a bit more than that.
I think I'm just a little salty about it. I'm like, God, I overpaid for this bottle, and it fucking doesn't have the layers. I'm looking for that rich cherry cola note that I love in GTS, and it just didn't have it. It just drank hot. So
here's the thing, though, for me, I have never overpaid for a bottle of whiskey, and I'll tell you why. It's not because I haven't paid too much money for one. It's because if I don't love it, it ends up here, and I end up sharing it with somebody that's never had it or really wants to try it, and that's worth whatever I paid for it.
Yeah. See,
if I love it, then I get to drink it, and that's even better.
Yeah, no, Colonel. I'm not talking about all GTS. I'm just saying last year's for me wasn't the best. But again, I might be salty because I overpaid for it. William LaRue Weller was way better, but the GTSs I've had before that, GTS is one of those bottles that you can overspend for each and every year, just like William LaRue Weller, and 99.9% of the time you're going to be happy. So,
yeah, I could have told you though when it was hazmat, it wasn't going to be as good. Like the thing about the George T. Stagg is the complexity with it. Just that hazmat. Like people love hazmat, and I chase proof. I love proof, but after a certain proof, it doesn't get more complex, and I want complexity. I want the whiskey to evolve as we're experiencing it. And with 140 something proof, what was it? It was 140.
It was 141, 142, something like that.
It's behind me on the shelf. I think I've got it back there.
Yeah.
I just knew it was going to be good, but it's going to be much more one or two notes, not complex.
Yeah, last year was one of the worst GTS. Fully agree. 25 was the best whiskey of 2025, I think. Yeah, I love the William LaRue Weller last year. But yeah, and dude, just to say that makes me so happy. I mean, I would probably expect nothing else from you, that you share your whiskey. I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. It's kind of my tagline, and I think that's super important. And I love that you kind of you get yourself kind of. You kind of believe in that doctrine as well. So I appreciate that about you.
I'm going to die if I try to drink all this crap. So
yeah.
I know. I got to find somebody to drink it.
Listen, man, have you ever done the math? It's scary. Have you ever done the math? Where you kind of figure out how many bottles you have. Then you kind of break it down by ounces. And then you kind of go.
Don't bring up price.
No, I'm not talking about price. I'm just talking about liquid volume in your collection. You said you probably have around 2,000 bottles, right?
We're probably 3,000 plus open right now.
3,000 plus open. So just think about it. If you did the math, I'm just saying, just for argument's sake, just say all those bottles are full, right? You take all your ounces, whether it's 700 milliliters, 750s, 375s. You figure all that out. You figure out how many ounces that is. And then you basically calculate, if you took a 2 ounce or 3 ounce pour a day for the rest of your life, or 4 ounces, or how many ounces you would need a day for the rest of your life before that shit would run out, I did the math for my collection. I would have to live to like, I think over 200 years old before I finished all of it.
Hey, the way the world's going, man, this is going to be valuable.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I mean, the thing is there's always more whiskey coming in. So we're adding to this. We just never get to go back and enjoy stuff because it's always like if I'm drinking, I've got to drink something new because that's the only way we get through the things we buy, the content that comes in. And so we're working on, our goal is to move this out. We've bought a building next to our distillery project that's going to be the studio. All this is going to get moved up there, and we're going to start doing our live stream in front of a live studio audience. And so hopefully sometime next year that happens, and then I can have 20 to 40 people every week come in and drink all this crap.
Oh, that's would be a great idea. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Love that idea. All right, let's pick the second semifinal or second finalist, I should say. Yeah, it's going to be hard. Difficult. I'm hoping that while we were yapping, maybe these open up a little bit more. Now we can pick a winner here. Let's see what we got.
Stands out. Okay. Yeah. Back to C.
Back to C.
Really back to honey covered graham cracker. The funkiness is not as strong on my palate. It's still there, but I've got to dig for it a little more. That's a beautiful whiskey.
The honey graham cracker, the honey graham cracker call out is so spot on. It literally tastes exactly like that. It's freaking honey grams.
My problem though is now that flavor is really strong, but it's really strong up front. And it kind of lets me down on the finish a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay.
So good, really good. It just hits me with all this flavor, and then it's just got a little light spiciness on the finish. So that I still think it's fairly complex whiskey, but the flavors up front are so strong that your palate desensitizes to what's going on after that.
Yeah. All right, let's go to letter E now.
E smells fantastic.
E tastes fantastic too.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna put E above C. So
I'm with you. I like E. I like E more than C.
It's still got that little funky wheat, but they balance it better with. I'm assuming they took a wheated bourbon or a wheat whiskey, and I'm just guessing, I hope I'm wrong, but. They balanced it with more of a rye forward bourbon. And so they've got that spiciness. They got a little more interesting things going on all the way through the palate, but you've got that little bit of kind of funkiness up front.
And E's got that viscosity too. Yukon Wit says Jason or TJ. Yukon Wit says Jason or TJ, favorite part of a pour. What do you lean on to, Brewzle? Finish, texture, nose? What do you look for most?
Evolution. So it's the evolution for me. It's not one thing. It's the fact that there are three things. I want it to start, I want it to evolve, and then I want it to finish. And so as long as there's not some really off-putting flavor there, and it evolves through three different phases, that's what I want in a bourbon. And so it could be almost anything, and I'm going to really like it as long as there's that evolution that goes along with it. So it's not one, it's three.
Yeah, for me, it's I think finish and texture, I think, are paramount. I mean, I agree. You want it to hit all the notes. You want it to do all the things that you're talking about, evolve on your palate. But if I have to pick one thing, it's going to be finish. I like a whiskey that hangs on, that you could sit there and enjoy. You could pour 2-3 ounces of it, and you could enjoy that in whiskey for 45 minutes to an hour as you're just sipping on it because the finish just goes. All right, what's the last letter you're on? What are we sipping here?
I just went to F.
Yeah. Oh, F. That's right. F. Okay.
Mig. He tried the Jack Daniels at the start of the stream. You can rewind it if you want to watch that. I may try it here in a second. The long story short, it's freaking delicious, but you better live in Tennessee or be willing to drive there if you want one.
Yeah, yeah, you have to. Remember these Jack Daniels, guys. For those of you that maybe didn't see the beginning of the stream, we're talking about these 375 milliliter beasts that were released by Jack Daniels this week. They are only going to be released via the White Rabbit Bottle Shop in Lynchburg, Tennessee. These are not going to stores. So if you want a chance to get one, you're going to have to travel. They released a bunch of them on Tuesday, probably all sold out. They're already on secondary for $3 thousand per 375 for like the entire set, which is kind of freaking nuts. But you know, this is where we are with some of these Jack Daniels. But they are absolute flavor bomb fireballs. They drink hot. They drink dense. They're dark. It's all the things you would expect from these super dark 375 milliliter Jack Daniels Rise.
I would say it's not to the level. I mean, it's close. It's probably not to the level of the Tenured Hill. It's probably not a Coy Hill, but it's like right there below it. And if you happen to be rolling through Tennessee, maybe more available to you because you know that's where they're being sold and you don't have to go chase them at a bunch of stores. So
if there's one I would tell you to go chase, it's this Boiler Hill #2. It's very rare you get this deep, rich cherry lozenge note on a Jack. And this Boiler Hill Batch 2 has it. And it's also the most available out of all the batches. There's 1,100 cases of it, 12 bottles to a case. So there's a lot of this. So if you get the Boiler Hill 2, just because it's the most of it doesn't mean it's the worst. It definitely, when we were talking with Chris Fletcher about it, it was one of his favorites because of that cherry like Twizzler note that it has. It's really good. So
for sure.
All right.
Jay Porter's asking, what's my favorite profile? Dark fruit, butterscotch, etc. As somebody who's about to start distilling, like we have our federal DSP, we're waiting on state permission. It's not a federal crime for me to make whiskey.
Congrats on that, by the way.
It is a state crime. Thank you. But we're chasing. So what we're doing early is we're going to distill ingredients. And so we're not going to distill one thing that's going to go into a bottle. We're going to distill different flavor profiles that we can blend together to make something. Okay. And obviously, long term, you want to make one thing you can just put into a bottle and make it easy on yourself. But so I don't have a favorite profile. I'm chasing them all. I'm trying to understand what causes them and all of the different things that goes into that. So I love a good red fruit profile. I also love like vanilla, butterscotch, and all of that stuff. So no answer there other than I'm looking into them all.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite all time is butterscotch, but I've been tending to lean into like dark berries as well. Like I love when I find like blackberry, cherry, like these really dark, rich fruits. That's like that cherry cola note you're talking about. If I find that in whiskey, it's awesome. But butterscotch, I think it's a little bit of the nostalgia, just that time in your whiskey journey when you kind of fall in love with dusty whiskeys before you realize how expensive it is to get into dusty whiskeys. So that's where I got my love for butterscotch from.
Is Big Vic's backyard in this? Is he in this competition? He's getting very impatient.
No,
okay? He wants to know.
He already got eliminated, so he's salty. So
then what, dude? Chill out for a minute. Enjoy yourself. You got somewhere to be? You got a date tonight? What's going on?
He probably wants to watch the Mighty Ducks. He's a hockey fan. Oh no, did they get eliminated?
The Mets are already over, man.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
In. I've got mine.
You got your favorite?
The top two.
Oh. I thought I knew, but now I don't know.
Which ones are you going back and forth between?
C and E.
You're going back and forth between C and E.
Yeah.
For which position?
Well, we already picked A, so we just need to pick one of these.
Yeah. And my pick was my pick was E. E's the pick.
E.
For me, I like the weeded Funkacy. E has some of that. I feel like it's just a little more robust, a little more well-rounded, especially after we've gone through this many samples. I think E still holds up.
The one that stands out on E that's making it win for me is the viscosity. The mouthfeel on it is stupid. It's unlike any other. So that's where we're going to go, guys. A and E are tonight's winners. So congratulations, guys.
There you go.
And we're about to find out, first of all, who got eliminated. So,
hey, sorry about that. He also chose the same one, so don't be mad at me.
Oh, they get mad at me regardless, so we're okay. Okay, so wow. All right. Interesting results. All right, here we go. The first one we eliminated was B. B belongs to the Bourbon Hall with Anti-Taters Reserve. Okay. So Bourbon Hall, Anti-Taters Reserve. We have his blend right here. So we wrote earthy, a little bit muddy. Let's see what he blended together here. So Bourbon Hall, equal parts, Cooper's Craft 100, Rare Breed, Jack Daniel's Heritage Toasted, Early Times, the new blue label, and Bardstown Weeded.
What? Hold on. Early Times. You're talking about the square bottles?
That's what I'm wondering. Did he? It says the new.
That's your mistake. That's the mistake he made.
Yeah, that shit is so
where he
bad.
went wrong.
Oh,
that's where he went wrong.
Yeah.
So that he added some really good ingredients. My criticism of that would be it, like, just thinking through those ingredients, whether it's either Early Times, like if you went with the square bottle, the new one, don't ever put that in anything. But if you went with the metal top, say we're talking about that one, that's almost the same thing as Cooper's Craft.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very similar. It's going to be Brown-Forman juice. The Rare Breed, you wouldn't want to equal parts that, because what you've done now is that Brown-Forman juice has taken over. It's like now like half the blend. You wanted some stronger things, so it makes sense with that blend. All of the ingredients is actually really good whiskey, but it also makes sense why, especially after it sits for a while, all Bourbon of those Hall flavors kind of muddy in the middle.
Bourbon Hall says no, it was the old metal top. So it was the it was the Barton. Okay. It was the Barton /
We were questioning your judgment for a second there. You used the square.
You're good,
bottles,
Bourbon Hall.
But I didn't figure anybody would make that mistake. So I'm with you there. I think the Cooper's Craft 100 and the Early Times bonded stuff is pretty much the same. Like, they're equal. And they may even come from the same exact allotment of barrels. I don't know. They're very, very similar to my palate. And so you ended up with that, which is a good caramel forward whiskey, but you didn't layer in as many flavors, and what you put in there all just kind of muddied. You needed to use some spicier, stronger stuff to stand up in a blind. Because if you just had that, like, it's good whiskey, if you just drank that, you would enjoy the heck out of it. But once you go through a blind, stronger flavors tend to prevail.
Letter C. This is the one that almost made it. I don't know if C might be the wild card for me. I might lead this in a wild card.
C was my third for sure.
Yeah, C might be the wild card selection for this blind that I might put against next week's wild card, and out of those two may make it to the finals. And that's going to go to Bo's Wine Guy with his Cinnamon Toast Punch. Cinnamon Toast Punch. We said that this was weedy. So let's see what's in this blend.
Sideshow says you liked it last week and placed it last now. But sometimes they oxidize. Sometimes things happen as blends sit. Like that.
It happens, yeah.
That's unfortunately the game.
There you go. Cinnamon Toast Punch. Larceny Barrel Proof and Booker's Small Batch Barrel Proof. There's the wheat. So yeah, that's both wine guys.
That was what?
It was
Larceny and Booker's?
It was two components, Larceny and Booker's. That's it.
Wow, okay. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Because Larceny is usually a nice caramel forward weeder. Booker's.
Yeah,
I'm gonna really funky. The funkiness is coming from Booker's.
Yeah, I'm gonna still read the ingredients if it's a wild card, just because we're gonna throw it in there just to see how it does. But we'll figure it out.
That blend though, that's a
good
job.
blend. I don't mind that blend. I still want to know what it is. She didn't have revealed it and may move forward. Well, okay, yeah, maybe my bad. We'll see how it goes. We'll figure it out.
I don't make the rules. He really messed up right there.
I think I did mess up. I probably just shouldn't have done that.
Man. Why'd you do that?
Whatever. I'll just throw it in the blind.
We got to move F forward now. We got to kick this one out because now.
I'll just put it in the blind and see how it does. It'll be fine. Okay, let's go to letter D. Letter D. That one belongs to John Porter with Stella's Stash. Stella's Stash. And let's see if we find that one. Okay, let's see what was in this one.
By the way, just to clarify, because some folks were mad about B, all of these are good whiskey.
Yeah.
All of these are good. There's no bad there's nothing here. I'm like, that's not good.
Man,
but you've got to you got to pick nits here.
We got a beautiful printout for this one. Stella's Stash recipe.
Put all the effort in.
Jack Daniel's single barrel proof shelfer. 40%. So that's 40% of the blend. The other 40% is Old Fitz 7-year, which is a wheater. 10% Knob Creek 18-year, and 10% Elijah Craig barrel proof C9 23, 133 proof.
I wanna know what these winners are so bad, because this dude used nothing but bangers.
Yeah,
he used nothing but bangers in this blend.
That is not.
It just didn't work out.
That is not the first time C9 23 has been in a blend. I think we've seen it. That might be the third time we've seen it in it. So yeah. The third time.
I was at Clyde Mays yesterday with some folks doing barrel picks, and they were looking at they were doing a bunch of picks for a big group, and they were looking at maybe blending it. And they had like 6 barrels that were absolutely fantastic. And then they took 4 or 5 barrels that were good, but not to those levels. And they blended them, and none of them were it wasn't as good as any of the barrels on their own. And so that's kind of what happened there is you've got a lot of great ingredients. It just didn't have the complexity of any of those ingredients, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Nathan, you made a good point. C923, for whatever reason, does not blend well. Every time we've tasted one with a C923 in it, it doesn't, I don't know if there's the oak takes over. It kind of just it diminishes everything else in the blend. All right.
They also, to the chat's point, they did not adhere to the spirit of this competition. If it's supposed to be something you could walk into a liquor store and buy.
Yeah, you're not walking in and finding C923, but it is what it is.
They tried to cheat, and it did not work out for them.
All right. The last one getting eliminated is, and I love the name of this blend, unfortunately, but they're not getting in there. It is Must Be Nice by Jeff Perkins. Jeff Perkins.
This is F?
This was F.
Honestly, F is fantastic. It was hard. F didn't have the complexity of the other 3 that I put above it, but F is fantastic whiskey.
Which means
it sucks to eliminate something this good.
I know, which means moving to the finals is Wallace Hare with not Drum Key, which was letter A, and Jeff Aldis with his Secret Knock Reserve. Congratulations to you two. You are finalists in Blendageddon 2025/26. Now let's find out what's in the It's Must Be Nice blend.
So viscous and heavy and thick.
Yeah, the
crazy.
Just the viscosity of it was probably the best. 30% James E. Pepper barrel proof.
Oh wow. Okay.
30% ECBP C925. That sounds better.
Wow. Yeah.
16% Jefferson's cast strength. 12% Bardstown Origin high wheat.
Dude, that's a wild blend for that.
And then 12% Old Grandad 114. That's
a wild blend.
That's a wild blend.
Who did that one?
Jeff Perkins.
Jeff is a crazy person. Because you got I think what he blended is probably better than any of those.
Yeah. I'm his blend is definitely better than the sum of, like, I love that Jefferson's cast strength, but I feel like he used it in a way where it actually made it more viscous, more. I mean, the old Grandad 114. This is a great blend. I'm gonna post this in the comments because I think this is a really cool blend to try at home.
Dude, I hate that got eliminated because that was very creative.
Yeah, that's a cool blend.
He made a really nice pie out of a lot of shit.
Yeah, the bar sound. But you know what? Here, we could kind of pat ourselves on the back, Brewzle, a little bit, because we called out wheat in pretty much all of these, and pretty much every blend had a wheated component in it. So
okay,
we did good.
We do kind of almost know what we're talking about.
Kind of almost know. Congrats to Wallace Hare with Not Drum Key and Jeff Aldis with Secret Knock Reserve. You are moving to the finals. The next time we do the bracket, I'm not sure if we're going to be doing it next week. I'm still waiting on my judge, but it'll be Jeffrey Wack, Dusty Dan, JG, Mark Emanecker, Danny Lopez, and Darrell Stewart going head to head. So the next bracket is stacked, but they're going to have some pretty stiff competition with the two that we picked tonight. So amazing. Talk about a blend. Yeah, how funny will it be when Not Drum Key is a 99-1 blend of Drum Key like Big Vic did? Oh, man. Ducks have scored twice since Jason ripped on them. There you go. Hey, look, I'm helping him out. Let's see. Hey, when I got C923, it was on the shelf. Oh, that's awesome. All right, guys. That's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. This was amazing. TJ, can't say thanks enough for coming on and hanging out with me tonight. This was an unbelievably fun live stream. It was cool just to get to know you, talk to you a little bit, and I hope we can collaborate in the future, man.
Absolutely. Let's do something together. It was fun.
All right, guys.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate everybody watching. Sorry that I'm sorry for Jeff here. Honestly, these were good. Jeff did a great job, and he didn't make it.
Yeah,
that happened. So that's life.
It happens. All right, guys. Cheers. We will catch you probably next week. Not sure if we'll have Blendageddon next week. Again, just waiting on that guest judge, but we'll see what happens. But either way, I'll see you next week. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey; it's the people you share it with. Cheers. We'll see you next time right here on the Master and Drum. Thanks again to Brewzle for hanging out. Cheers, guys.